Hey, everybody, welcome to the Raw Line Report. Today's guest, wow, went from being the Olympia 212 champion to almost winning the Mr. Olympia in 1 year. Please welcome all the way from Florida, former Indiana native, Derek Lunsford. What's up, Derek?
What's up, Ron?
Yeah.
Happy to be back, man. How you been?
I shook it up today. Usually I wear your the black with the gold Lunsford shirt.
I know.
Today but you know what?
That's the original.
Look at the back, 212.
Oh no, that's the Olympia 212. Yeah.
This is a collector's item now. You can't get these anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. And of course, I want to congratulate you. February Muscular Development. Look at that beautiful picture.
Dang.
Yeah.
I know you and Steve sent that over to me. I was like, dang, that's awesome.
and I've been with MD for over 20 years, and I cannot recall once where we put someone just in the standing relaxed pose.
Yeah.
But that's the first look we had of you at the Olympia, that pose, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" Jaws just dropped. That's where I actually want to start is the Olympia, because there were people that were mad that you got the invite, and they said, we wanted to do an open show first. And Giles and I, the whole time, were saying no, because now this is going to be so much anticipation leading up to what's he going to look like? What's he going to look like? And if you had done when there was like a billion shows in the 6 weeks before that, some weekends there were like 2 shows. One in Spain, one here, one there. But if you had done that, it would have ruined the surprise. And instead, whole world was waiting. We'd never seen you at anything above 212 pounds. Speculation, how big's he going to be? What's he going to look like? And when you came out there, man, it was just, talk about not the opposite of a letdown. Everyone was just super, super impressed, obviously. First call out, put you and Hottie dead center. So yeah, I want you to comment on that. Are you glad that you didn't have to qualify, only because it did lead to, I think that was the best moment of the weekend was when you first came out and people got their first look at you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm honored to be able to compete at the Olympia, whether it's, one way or the other. I'm just honored and grateful for the opportunity to get the special invite and be able to stand toe to toe with these guys. Yeah, man, what a year, right? I mean, I didn't really know what to expect as far as like reactions from everyone. But yeah, when I came out and hit the front relaxed, it just honestly felt, you could hear the air in the room just get sucked out. It was really a wild experience for me. I've never been at an event where it was so polarizing. Like one moment, the entire room was just, focused, silent. And I was like, oh shoot, at that moment. And so then I hit the front double bicep, and it was kind of like instead of like it was like an exhale, like and then the back shots, it was just, everybody was going crazy. So for me, it was, I was really like trying to soak in the moment, and it was the coolest experience I've ever had. That's for sure.
So you looked bang on Friday night at the judging, and some of the guys didn't. And a lot of that had to do with the amount of time you guys were back there. It was a full 5 hours or more from the time you had to report backstage. How were you able to manage that? Was Hani helping you, like, eat this, don't eat that, fluids? Because it's 5 hours is a long time. You could have been in your room with your feet up, watching Netflix or something.
Hani is watching like a hawk. That's what makes him such a great coach and the greatest coach of all time, because he pays attention to every detail and food, water, sodium, timing, lighting of the stage. I mean, literally there's everything you could think of when it comes to putting his athlete on stage. He's already thought about ahead of time. So, and the thing is, some things are out of your control. So he kind of like, if I could speak for him, I should say, he kind of like weighs out options. Okay, if we start at this time, prejudging starts at this time, then this is what we want to do. If not, here, I need to send you with some food. You need to have food prepared. So that way, if you're backstage, you got to wait, then you can, munch on some food or have another meal or whatever it is. So we try to take out as many variables as possible so that if something like that happens, then we can still come in at our best.
Yeah, I'm sure you've answered this before, but what was it like preparing for the first time ever without, because you've been an amateur, then you were pro, but you were 212
Yeah.
pro. So there was a weight limit. What was it like the first time not having this number in your head? Oh no, I have to get to 198. I have to get to 212.
A big relief not having to make the 212, but it was a bit different. I mean, you don't get away from the grind of a prep. I mean, you still have to get conditioned. You're still doing, a couple hours of cardio a day and training a few hours a day, and everything's regimented. I don't think you get away from the grind by any means. But yeah, it kind of instilled more confidence in me at times. But it was a little bit different towards the end. So when I say it's instilled more confidence, I knew I could present a better physique with more muscle tissue than having to squeeze in the 212. So that was exciting for me and did instill more confidence. But at the same time, it was new. It was kind of like our first real prep in a way. So yeah, I mean, we learned a lot about each other, about my body and how it responds. And like I said last year, like this is just the beginning for me, I believe. And I'm just going to take it one step at a time, one show at a time, 1 year at a time. And, I'm right now I'm having fun. I'm still on cloud 9, and I just got home from doing my cardio, actually, as a matter of fact. And so I'm sticking to my cardio, sticking to the meals and the training, and my body is responding right now really well. Just by me being eager coming off the Olympia this year.
Yeah. So I'm curious, you were in the low 230s on stage, correct?
Yeah. Somewhere.
Yeah, so how much of that was brand new muscle, and how much of it was muscle that you have already built, but you had to diet away to make 212 for the last couple of times you were competing in the 212 division?
I don't know, man.
Here's an easy, I should put it this way. At what point, say in the last couple preps, when you were doing a 212, did you say, wow, I'm ready now, and I weigh X amount, but I need to get down to 212?
I probably could have stepped on stage 5 to 10 pounds heavier in the past. But then again, if you're tearing it down to fit into the weight class, you're going to have to work to put that back on. So that's kind of the catch-22. It's like, I don't want to call it brand new muscle, but at the same time, it is, because I was 212 every other year. So,
yeah. So I'm sure you've already, I apologize if you've answered all these questions before, but this is my first interview with you since.
No, this feels like a different talk, honestly.
Oh, good. Because when you got that first call out and they moved the 2-time champion off to the side, and clearly the two people they were looking at for the win, for anyone who's been to pro shows, or 1,000 of them in my case, will tell you they're looking for the winner with these two guys. Did you immediately know, wow, I'm in the fight to win this thing? And it must have been an overwhelming feeling.
I would say 99% of me was just thinking about me and staying in the moment. But that other little fraction, yeah, I mean, I thought it was, well, actually, let me say this. When we all first got called out, and I think I was maybe kind of on the end, and they pulled me into the center, I was like, all right, awesome. And then that's when I kind of seen where everybody was lined up. And I did see Rami off to the side, and I thought it was one of two things. One, it's either, yeah, he's on, or no, he's off. One or the other. I don't know what it is, but right. When he never got pulled into the middle,
right,
that was kind of like I still didn't know. You don't know till it's over, but that was kind of me thinking like, okay, he never got pulled into the middle, so it probably is going to be like a 5th or 6th placing. But again, like I said, I wasn't really even thinking about anyone else at all. Right. I was just trying to be present for myself, because I mean, look, you might be out there watching us pose for pose, like, oh man, Steve's really working them. But honestly, it goes by like that. And I've known that because I've been at the Olympia for 5 years. This is my 6th year at the Olympia. Yeah. And this is the first time I just was like, I want to take it all in. Mm-hmm. This time, if no other time, I want to take it all in for myself. I want to take it as slow as possible. I will, run through as many poses as we have to, but I just want to take it all in. And it's even then, it just went so fast. And I was like, wow, like next thing you know, I'm back in the hotel room.
Yeah, it does get flagged. People have no idea how quick, months and months and months, and then you're up there and you blink and it's over, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah.
Damn. But looking back now, a lot of people felt you beat Hadi from the back. It was clear, it wasn't even close from the back. A lot of people talk about this area, the shoulders, the chest. Where do you feel Hadi? I do that all the time.
Everybody does that.
They're both Persian. But where do you feel he edged you out? And how do you, assuming that's the guy you want to beat, assuming he's going to be the front runner again, what do you need to do to take him out next time?
Right now my focus is to bring up my upper body, like my chest area, chest, shoulders, arms, and my quads from my legs from the front. So I think that's where I can definitely make improvements. I think, look, I'm not just focused on one area. I'm training my entire physique to be better next year. It's not like I'm not training my back or my back shots. It's like I want to be better in every shot next year. And so you better believe that I'm in the gym working for that right now, and it's going to be all year long. So if I had to pinpoint one area, it would be like the chest area, a little bit more density and hardness, muscle maturity there. And then if I can fill out my quads a little bit more too, icing on the cake, I think.
It's crazy that your quads look enormous now, but I guess everything can always be better, right? No matter how good something is, it can always be better.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the Olympia. We put that behind us now. We're talking about the Arnold. Everyone expected you to do the Arnold, especially when they bumped up the prize money. Like, oh, now he'll be in, because you know how Walker jumped. Everybody started jumping into like Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
So everyone's thinking, Derek Lunsford, Derek. You would have been like the last puzzle piece. Like that would have been the most incredible lineup for the Arnold they could even imagine. But, it was ultimately your decision. It's your body, it's your career. So in a nutshell, why did you decide not to do this Arnold Classic?
Look, money, is it a factor? Yeah, it is. But is it the bottom line? And is it why I do this? No. Obviously, I do make money through bodybuilding and other streams of income. I'm grateful for those, and I feel very blessed. $300,000 and an Arnold Classic title that's up there, man. That's no small purse, and you got to give it to Arnold and the whole team for, putting up that kind of money every year or this year, I should say. So, as an athlete, I appreciate that. But at the same time, I have to focus on me. I have to stay in my lane and think about my life, right? So first and foremost, I have to think about my wife and my health. So our own personal home life. I actually just did a YouTube video where a friend of mine actually asked kind of this question of like what I'm about to talk about, having balance. And you can check out my YouTube channel if you want to hear a little bit more. But he asked me this, and I said, making sure to find balance with your home life, with your spouse, your health, your own personal mental health. And also you got to think too, like, if I'm competing in a show, then I have, let's say 3 or 4 months of the year where I am only focused on prepping and getting ready for that show. Nothing else is consuming my thoughts or my time or anything like that. It is train, eat, sleep for the Olympia, right? And if you do any other shows, then that's another few months, right? So then you have how many more months of the year? Okay, well, I want to make sure that I have my time, my spouse time, making sure my health is in order. And then the business side too, of course. So we have ambitious goals in business, and there's opportunities to travel and get out there and meet people that support me and other bodybuilders. So how much time do you need with your spouse and for yourself? And then the rest of it can go put towards, getting out there, traveling and working the business, or your own personal business. Like we have some things going on here at home too, as well. So there is a lot going on. If I must say, pretty much my entire year feels pretty booked up already. And that's a good thing, but, trying to find balance is what I'm saying. And so for me, I just prayed about it a lot. And I said, God, like, is this something I should go for? Is this something that you're putting in front of me that I should open my eyes to and go for? Or is this something that is just a distraction for the ultimate goal and the bigger picture of everything? And I thought about it, prayed about it, talked to my wife about it. Obviously I consulted with Hani as far as like what he thought. And that was pretty much it. It came down to my decision. And I said, you know what? it's not right. I need to focus on the Olympia. I need to make improvements. I need to think about my home life, our own businesses here. So that's what I chose. And I'm excited to watch these guys battle it out. I mean, I see Nick training really hard. He looks good. You got everybody's talking about Clarita coming up from the 212, which I'm excited to see him and Kamal next to each other, because I see Kamal here and he's looking really good. So I'm super excited, especially seeing him in Tampa like in the Open last year. And then you got, Samson Dauda, is coming in strong. You got Andrew Jack coming in strong, and everybody is sleeping on William Bonac. Yeah. So it's going to be a really good show. And I'm grateful that I get to be there to watch it as a fan, but also knowing these guys are my competitors and they're pushing me to be better for November in Orlando at the Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. I saw it. I think it was taken out of context for some clickbait, but Trigilli did a video. It said, Jay Cutler, he takes little clips from everyone's podcast. It's a pretty easy way to make videos, but no offense, Nick, you do a great job. But the title was Derek Lunsford is afraid of Nick Walker. Like you didn't think you'd be able to beat him, but he just beat him at the Olympia. Why would he not?
Yeah,
that didn't even make sense to you. But I guess it's cool that you're such a big name and such a topic of discussion that people will make these. But did you laugh when you heard that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, you're not afraid of anybody.
I had a bunch of people messaging me and they were like, "Oh, did you hear Olympia TV what they said? Did you hear what Nick Trigilli said? Did you hear?" And I just laughed at all of it. It's like, look, man, like I get it. You got to be like they want to be polarizing with what they're saying and create some controversy, some drama, and that's exciting. It's entertaining. But like I said, like me, I'm staying in my lane, and I just laughed about it.
And I mean, just going back to the business side of it, if you guys follow Derek on Instagram, he's been doing like one or more appearances every day, it seems, since the show. You're all over the place. So you couldn't do that if you were in prep. You'd be locked in and it'd be just eat, sleep, train, cardio, repeat, basically. And you don't understand this. This is a window of time that's not forever to be a pro bodybuilder and to really capitalize on the opportunities and all that are coming. They're not going to be around forever. So, and another thing, the 10-week turnaround time, it's so short. I mean, that's why I really hope the Olympia, I'd love to see it go back to the old days. It was like October.
Yeah.
That's a little more cushion of time. If the Olympia had been late September, early October, would that have been more maybe feasible that you could have done this, Arnold?
I don't know. I mean, right after the Olympia, like I said, I was interested in doing it and still training as if I was going to, but I was giving myself a few weeks to make sure my health was on point and it was truly the right decision. So like I said, after a couple of weeks, I think maybe it was like 3 weeks after, that's when I realized, I need to not try to get ahead of myself. We had a lot of good things happen this year at the Olympia, yet I still see that I need to get better. And so, like I said, looking at the bigger picture, whether it was 10 weeks, 6 weeks, 20 weeks, I think it was just like, okay, this is not this year, at least. I'm not saying never. Right. Arnold Classic title is the second most prestigious title in the world. And they, like I said, $300,000 is a lot of money. So who's to say in the future, I may do it, but then again, who knows? Right now I'm just thinking the here and now.
Yeah. It's just as a financial thing. I don't, in the years past, the Arnold sort of had this obligation that they would never match the Olympia prize money because out of respect for Joe Weider, out of respect to the Olympia, but it's a whole different group of people running the Arnold now. And I don't think that they're bothered by that. So I wouldn't be overly surprised if the Arnold money eventually, maybe even next year, matches the Olympia prize money if they can swing it. And why not? But
like I said, I'm not saying that the money isn't a factor. I mean, if they're putting up a large purse, it's going to be enticing for anyone, including me. Sure. But ultimately, you have to try to stay level-headed and go, what's the best decision here for me?
Yeah. And I mean, I was never in favor of you doing the Arnold, honestly. Selfishly, I'd love to see you on that stage because I want to see all the best physiques. But I've known you for a few years now. You're almost the same. You're not much older than my oldest child.
Yeah.
So I have that. I sort of have that little, not fatherly. I'm not your dad, but Scott. That's Scott. But you know what? I care about what happens to you. If anything bad ever happened to you, I'd be very upset.
And we go back a long time. How many years now we've known each other?
So you won, since you won
Many.
17.
I
So
think so.
you're in prep, put it this way, you're in prep for how many weeks for Olympia?
For the Olympia, I mean, like I said, 3 or 4 months. So
So let's call it 16 weeks, the
at least,
typical.
yeah.
Add another 10 weeks onto that. Now you're talking 26 weeks. That's 6 months of prep.
Mhm.
And I don't think the fans really understand what prep entails at your level and how much of a beating your body takes, your emotional state, everything just gets beat up. And
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys are doing it, the ones that did the Olympia. I mean, I hope they're all going to be okay, of
Yeah.
course, but that's a long time to be in that contest prep mode with the
Yeah.
dieting and everything that goes into prep. So personally,
Mhm.
I'm so happy you're not doing the Arnold, and I'm sorry if that upsets people, but that's my personal feeling.
I remember in 2016, I believe it was, I was an amateur NPC bodybuilder. Uh, I did the middleweight class 2016. Yep.
Yeah.
The first show that I did was, I believe it was in April, like early April. It was the Indie Pro show, which at that year was the year before they had the Indie Pro. It was the Midwest Battle of Champions,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was the very first year. Dave Bowers, shout out to Dave Bowers,
Yeah.
awesome promoter. Because he's the one that was putting it on, I was like, I want to do this show. It's first show. So we did the Midwest Battle of Champions 2016.
Yep.
My wife actually did that show as well.
Oh.
I won the overall for the bodybuilding. That's my first overall win.
Wow.
Then let's see. I think it was June that I did NPC Junior Nationals,
Yep.
and I won the overall there. And then my final show that I did that year was the last weekend of July, which was the USA's NPC USA Championships. So imagine beginning of April, end of July, prep that entire year. And I think I started my prep at about 24 weeks out from the first show.
Ooh.
So I remember what that was like. And that was not, I mean, that was a rough year of just because you're not chaining your shows appropriately. I think it's important that, like, if you want to do a couple of shows back to back, you can do that, or you can compete multiple times a year. But I think choosing them wisely, like, for example, we have our coaching team, me and my assistant coach on the UC Fit coaching team. We suggest that people do compete maybe at 2 shows, like one back to back,
right?
But that's usually within we like to be like 2 to 4 weeks apart. Yeah. That's most ideal. So we like to chain those together, whether it's like a regional show for like a national qualifier, then you do nationals, or maybe 2 regional shows or what have you. We like to, make sure they're grouped closer together or further apart. Right. So, I don't think it's wrong anybody does more than one show, but in my instance, I want that Mr. Olympia title.
Yeah. And I mean, people say, well, he's got all this time, and look at how much time's in between. I said, you guys don't understand how that time goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Back time. When I say back time it. If the Olympia is November 7th, go to 16 weeks before that. That's the start of his prep.
Yeah.
So how much time does that give him in off season? Because he's got to sort of try to relax after the Olympia for a little while. It's not as much time as people, it's not a lot of time is what I'm trying to say.
And it brings me back to the whole balance thing, making sure that, you're right with God always. And then you and your spouse, that's number one, most important, your foundation at home. Yeah. So once you have that in, then you can go into a prep with like a clear mind. And then also, the financial side, the business side. So that's why I said those things have to be in balance before you, in my opinion, can be your best showing up to a show.
Yeah. And, obviously the Olympia is the toughest show in the world. Very few people have ever won it. A lot of guys have come close. A lot of guys have been second and never won it. And you don't want to be one of those guys, I don't want you to be one of those guys. He came second back in 2000. Remember that? No, I don't want that. I want you to get that title. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is the future of the 212 division. Mm-hmm. That's coming up a lot lately because we've seen the very best 212s like yourself leave the division and go on to the open. Kamal says he's never going back to 212. He's only doing open from now on. For the last few years that he's got left, he's 53 now. No, 52. He's 52. Obviously, you're gone. You're never going back to 212. Clarita's doing both. we don't have a lot of superstars in the 212 like we did years ago, where we had guys like Flex Lewis, who was, he was the face of the 212 for years and years. We've seen the title change hands now every year. We've had a different, it was Flex, then it was Kamal, then it was Sean, then it was you, and now it's Sean again. So the title keeps going back and forth. You know, do you worry? You still have love for the division. That's the division you came up with. You came up in, and you were the champion, the world champion. What are your thoughts on the future of that division?
I think it's just fine, to be honest with you. I mean, I can see why people would say, oh, well, these 212 guys are doing open. Why don't you just take that money and put it into the open? But look, if there wasn't a 212, would you even know Derek Lunsford or Flex Lewis or any of these other guys that compete in the 212? I mean, now I did the open, but thank God I had 5 years to be in that division to continue to work on myself as a bodybuilder, as a human being, as a man. You know, I got to grow up in this sport essentially, and be able to make an impact without having to go straight to the open. So if you're like, you know, a shorter bodybuilder, it's better to have that 212 division to continue to compete, develop your physique. And that way, eventually, if you ever want to move to the open, then you're kind of already established as a top pro in the sport. So here's what I want to see. I'll tell you this. I want to see some of these other 212 guys, because we honestly, man, 212 there is a deep lineup of really good quality competitors. I'm telling you, the thing is, I just don't think that they put it out there and show it enough. So I want to see guys like Keon and, you know, Clarita's doing a great job of putting out content, I think, and getting himself out there. But I want to see more of Keon and some of these other guys pushing their content. And I was just out in Dallas at Destination Dallas. That's right. With the Gas and Better Bodies family, which shout out to everybody. Yep. This was not supposed to be a plug, but there is an ambassador search going on right now for Gas and Better Bodies. So that's huge. And I want to make that known. But I was out there at Destination Dallas talking to Keon, and he was already filming his training. I'm like, man, this is what you need to do. You need to give everyone out there that's, you know, saying something negative about the 212, oh, get rid of whatever. You need to give them every reason of why it's here to stay. And if you can do that, and these other guys get on board, then it's going to be a thriving division. And I think that's why when Flex Lewis was, you know, reigning, I think he did a phenomenal job. And, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think, you know, me coming up to challenge him was an exciting time. You had the likes of Jose Raymond, Guy Cisternino, and several others that was making that division exciting and entertaining. Granted, Classic wasn't what it is today, but I don't think Classic has to take away from these other divisions. I think, you know, 212 is its own thing. And for me as a fan, it's already exciting because I'm watching these guys. But if they were to be able to push more content and give the fans and everyone every reason why it's here to stay, then I think there wouldn't even be a question at this point, you know?
So 212 pros, I hope you watch this. I hope you listen to what Derek just had to say. And, you know, I don't know why anyone wouldn't do that anyway these days, because you have to promote yourself now. It's not like, it's not like years ago where that was all left up to photographers and magazines. Those days are, I hate to say it because I still write for a magazine, but those days are gone. It's kind of on you now as the athlete to make your own publicity and build your brand. The one thing that I would worry about, there's a lot of people say, let's just get rid of the 212. Let's just have it like the old days. It was all one division. Lee Priest didn't need a 212. Sean Ray didn't need. But here's the thing is, for many years, guys that were turning pro as middleweights and light heavies, a lot of them either never even tried to compete as a pro because they said, well, I can't stand next to Nasser and I'll get killed. So they never competed, or they competed once and they didn't get looked at and they never competed again. And I fear that if the 212 division gets taken away, a lot of these guys turning pro in those lighter weight classes, anything under heavyweight, we'll never see them again.
And look at guys like Breon Ansley, former Classic physique champion, Mr. Olympia. So he's moving from Classic to 212. Yeah. We wouldn't see that happening. And how exciting is that, watching him against Keon again and Clarita and all the others, Angel, whoever. So for me, man, I think the 212 just gets kind of overshadowed by the Classic and the open division. But for me, as someone that follows the sport closely, was in the 212 division and is watching all these guys, I think there's a deep lineup of quality competitors in the 212, and dude, I'm telling you, they're hungry, man. They work hard. They come in incredible conditioning, and the 212 guys work hard, and it is a nail biter to the end. It's a fierce competition in the 212, whereas maybe open, it could be a little bit more widespread amongst the guys.
Yeah. And, shout out to the 212 guys, because you'll see in the open lineups, there's maybe a few guys who are in great condition, but there's usually not that many. 212, dude, it's very rare you see a 212 guy at the level of the Olympia, especially who's not just shredded out of his skull because he had to get down to 212. Last thing I want to ask you about is, man, your condition. This is why I kept thinking maybe he is going to do the Arnold, because you look like you were staying so lean. And I'm going to take a guess. If you were 230s, I'm going to guess you're no more than, just based on the condition. I'm not saying you don't look huge, but I don't think you put on more than 10, 15 pounds since the Olympia. Am I right?
You just want to know my weight, don't you?
Yeah. I'll take a guess, and then you tell me how far off I am. I'm going to say, all right, 244. Yeah. Damn, yeah. I'm good.
No, it's a little heavier than that. I would say I'm sitting around 250-ish in the morning.
Does the thing want you to stay lighter this time than you did last year, or no?
I just don't see the reason to balloon up and gain 30 pounds right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to really stay in good conditioning as I slowly add on the weight. And I'm telling you, I do feel full as a house in the gym, and I feel like my muscles are really pushing and responding well to the training and the food and the rest. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I did take several days off from the gym over the weekend and late last week, just because I was like, you know what, I've been really pushing hard over the last month in my training. So I said, I give myself a few days rest, and then I came back on, I think it was Monday, and started training hard again. So, like I said, like right now is a time for me to make sure my health is in check, that I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be in the gym, which I am. That's not hard for me.
Yeah.
It's harder for me to stay out of the gym. That's the thing, to take those rest days that I need. I know. But yeah, everything is responding really well, and I'm happy, man. I mean, as far as like what my weight's going to be, at the tip of the off season, I don't know yet. But I'm trying to put on quality muscle tissue, and I think it's best if you're gradually gaining that weight and gaining that size rather than just ballooning up. And then I don't know. I don't think that's the best way.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're about 250 now, and you were like high 250s at that Pittsburgh guest appearance that everyone, that was iconic. I personally think you're a lot leaner now, meaning you have a lot more muscle tissue than you did at the last time you were 250. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're lean. You're way leaner now than you were in Pittsburgh. You weren't fat by any means, but people were saying, "Oh, he's shredded." I'm like, no, come on, guys. You don't know what the hell you're looking at. I mean, he's not fat, but no, that's far from contest condition. Where now you don't look that far off. Like, I bet if you really wanted to, 6 weeks you could be back in contest shape, if not less, if you wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. That's where I feel like I'm about at that 6 week mark, probably. Yeah. Well, I feel good, man. That's the thing. Like, I'm doing 30-40 minutes of cardio. I would say about more like 30 minutes. This morning I did 40, but 30-40 minutes of cardio, pretty much on my upper body and rest days, not on my leg days. So 4 or 5 days a week. If I don't go to the gym and do my cardio or do it here at home, then I might go for like a long walk around the park, or her and I may go somewhere and walk around for an hour. Making sure I stick to my cardio, and I got the Mega Fit meals, which makes it super easy for me to eat clean. I don't know if you've ever had the Mega Fit meals, but they're stupid good. Yeah, I haven't. I never had them until like this year, and I was like, dang, man, these are, because they got their own custom, or you can customize your meals, but they also have their own signature meals, and it's like for me, it's like cheating, but I'm not cheating on my diet.
What's your favorite one?
I would say the Bum Bowl, which is kind of like a meat pasta, like a beef or bison pasta, kind of like a pasta dish. But then also you got the Flex Lewis signature, which is the salmon and rice. I like salmon and rice. So.
Okay. You say
I don't know, they're
bum?
all pretty good. So they got,
Did you
they
say
got a bunch of different
bumble
ones.
like C-bum?
Yeah, like Chris Bumstead, the
Oh, that's his
Bumble.
meal. Okay. Yeah,
But they got other things too, man. Like they got like teriyaki chicken and like chicken fried rice and spaghetti and things like that. So it's like I'm able to eat really whatever I want to, like burgers, like whatever I want to eat, but it's like staying within the macros and stuff. So, and like I said, as long as I'm training hard and I'm doing my cardio and eating these clean meals, like hopefully I'll just be able to put on lean muscle tissue and come in hopefully 5 to 10 pounds, better this year.
Wow.
We'll see.
Imagine 10 more pounds in that condition. Oof.
Who knows? Who
Who
knows?
knows? I mean, you started off as a middleweight competing, correct?
No, I was a welterweight, but I think the welterweight cap is 165.
Yeah.
And I was in the 150s somewhere. And that was 2015, man.
So do the math. That's 80 pounds of muscle, correct? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, go check out my Instagram. I think it's one of the pinned videos that I have on my Instagram.
Yeah.
It's from 2015 to 2022.
Wow.
Even when I watch it, I'm like, that's insane. What the heck?
Yeah. So man, I love watching your progress through the years. You're doing it right. It sounds like 80 pounds. Oh my gosh, but you didn't do that in like 1 year. You're pacing yourself.
Yeah.
You're taking time off between shows. You're really doing it right. And now you're aligned with Hani Rambod. So
yeah,
I think everything's good, man. I think you're in a great spot. I really, really, really happy again. You're not doing the Arnold. Sorry, Arnold promoters. I don't mean it toward no disrespect toward your event. I just like to see you doing things the right way and playing the long game because you're only 29 years old, right?
Yeah, 29.
I mean,
I'm hanging on to 29 until May.
I mean, you have so much ahead of you still. And I really look forward to seeing all that. So what is your YouTube channel? Is it just your name?
Yep. You can look up Derek Lunsford on YouTube. Also, obviously, if you're following me on Instagram, all the links to everything from my YouTube to TikTok to all my sponsors with their codes and stuff like that are in the link tree in the bio. So
cool. We'll have that Instagram in the description for this, of course.
Cool.
And, yeah, man. Great catching up with you, Derek. It's been a minute since the Olympia, but I'm kind of glad we waited because now I was able to ask things I don't think I would have even been known to ask you back then. So it all worked out.
Exactly. It finally worked out. And, I like we talked earlier, I have a ton of traveling coming up. A lot of weekends I will be going here, there, and everywhere in the US and international, which is pretty cool. Wow. But I'll tell you, are you going to be at the Arnold Classic?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'll be there too as well with Hani and the Evogen team at the Evogen booth. So maybe we can catch up again there. And if anybody else is out there watching is going to make it to the Arnold, I hope to see you there. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you so much, Derek. Awesome catching up. And guys, you'll be following this man's journey all the way up until the 2023 Mr. Olympia, because that's the year we're in right now, apparently. So, congratulations on that second place. I was so happy for you. Would have been even happier if you won, but man, second place in your first Open Olympia, where there were people saying he's not going to make the top 10. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. The only people I know that consistently had you in their predictions as second were me and Steve Blackman.
Is that right?
Yeah, Steve was saying that like 6 months out from the show, and everyone's like, oh, come on, Steve, don't be ridiculous.
Now, I know Ronnie had my back. Did Giles have my back? What was Giles saying now? I think Giles had my back.
Yeah. Well, Giles did. I think Ronnie did too. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I'll look back. Anyway, thanks for the interview. And guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and of course, leave some comments. Maybe if Derek's in a good mood, he'll come and look at your comments after this post. We'll see. So that's it, man. Thank you so much for watching Ron Line Report with Derek Lunsford, your Mr. Olympia runner-up. And we'll see you next time. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.